Governor, can you talk about how the push to legalize marijuana in Portland and possibly statewide affects this? Is that a separate issue, or does?
Yeah, I think it's a separate issue. I think what they're doing in Portland is against federal law and state law. I don't condone it. I think, I will tell you, I'm not a user, so I don't know what it does, but everybody that has experience with it has told me that marijuana is a gateway drug. If it's a gateway drug, then it's certainly not helping the situation.
I can answer that question. May I go?
Yes, by all means.
It's time we got real about marijuana. I was doing some research on this for a talk I gave not too long ago, and I can tell you that the marijuana that is available now is much different than the marijuana that existed back when half of us were in college. And it's not only a gateway drug. I was looking at numbers on juvenile admissions to residential treatment centers that were publicly funded. By juvenile, I mean ages 12 to 17. And the admissions annually to a state-funded, i.e. taxpayer-funded treatment center. And the average per year was 327. I'm sorry, not per year, per week. 327. And I broke down the numbers. These came from the National Institute of Health. And the number of juveniles admitted as for substance abuse, with marijuana being their substance, what they were addicted to, was over 50% of that total figure, whereas opiates was 9. It was so more heavily weighted towards marijuana, it was staggering. It was staggering. There's also a long-term study that looked at regular marijuana users over a 25-year period and determined that, and this shocked me too, because I didn't realize this could happen. There's an actual decrease in IQ of 10 points, an average decrease in IQ. There are so many reasons not to legalize marijuana. And the director of the National Institute of Health had an editorial, I forget where it was published, I think the New York Times, a couple of weeks ago, that said, let's take a breath. You know, let's see what happens in Colorado. Let's look at what happens with lung cancer rates. Let's look what happens to our children, you know, before we go running off to legalize marijuana. I think it's a huge mistake. I'm going to shout it from the rooftops, and I'm going to do everything I can so that the experience in Portland isn't repeated. There are 2 benefits to Portland's legalization of marijuana. Number 1, my caseload for those cases is decreased dramatically. And 2, sales of Girl Scout cookies outside. I'm serious. It's been shown in California. Some enterprising Girl Scouts set up shop outside some hot houses, and their sales just skyrocketed. So,
and that's bad how?